2022 has been an amazing year for me when it comes to comics, right? My first full year back in over 20 years. So I came across a lot of great stuff. So it got me wanting to put together a list of my top books in a few different categories. So let's go ahead and see what cracked my top books of the year. Now, before we get started, one thing that I have to do. Captain America, he's part of the family now. So I put together this list, and it was a very tough list to come up with. I mean, I read a lot of really good stuff this year, and then when it came down to narrowing these down to just one per category, it was unbelievably hard. But I usually manage to do it, and I did it somehow. So let's get on with it. Now, one category that I wanted to come up with and create, I guess, is a one-shot category. Now, there are some good one-shots out there, but for me, the best one-shot of the year had to be The Death of Superman, Superman number 75, 30-year commemorative issue. So, you know, the 30th anniversary, this is the reprint. So I had to make this my number one book, even though it is a 30th anniversary special edition. I had to get a bunch of books. Now, this is the polybag. This is more of the anthology book with the other stories in it. So, you know, I had to get the polybag issue, of course, and then another polybag issue where I opened it up with the armband and everything, and then the original, the polybag that it came in, I put it on the back of there. But, and then another one of the books. And I mean, I had to consider the nostalgic factor when it came to this book. The stories in this book was very enjoyable. You can see how they all tied into the original story. Superman is one of the classic characters of all time. So, you know, I had to do it, man. 30th anniversary of the death of Superman. To me, in my opinion, it can't get better than that. So that's my one-shot book of the year. Now, my next category is miniseries of the year. There was a bunch of good ones. There's a couple of them that I wanted to actually make my miniseries of the year, but I was like, no, it wouldn't be right because they're still going on and they're going to flow into next year. So I'm like, all right, I want to make this strictly 2022. So with that being said, Metal Society. I know it might be a surprise to some people, but Metal Society, it's a 5-issue series, and this made my mini-series of the year. I thought the idea of it was really cool, and, you know, I like the fact that robots in the future are running the planet and, you know, kind of enslaving humans, and she's fighting for humanity, so to speak. So it's a series that if you haven't read it, the trade is out now. If you can't get the back issues, I highly recommend it. It's very different in my opinion. It's very cool, very fun. So Metal Society number 2. And then Metal Society number 3. Issue number 4. And then the last issue, which is the only variant cover that I got for this whole run. But yeah, number 5, the final issue. So definitely recommend checking out Metal Society. But yeah, Metal Society is my mini series of 2022. Now for my third category, which is ongoing book of the year. Now I will say this book completely blew me away. I did not expect this to be so good, but it's amazing. Now there's some other titles out there that could have easily been this year's winner for ongoing, but I had to go with Daredevil. This book blew me away, man. Like I said, did not expect it to be so good. And Chip Zdarsky, I can't say enough, man. But I love the way that he did this, and he's working with the Punisher. Like it's a collaboration, and they're kind of like going in. They're mirroring each other, man. There's gonna be like a big old thing where they're gonna just like butt heads. But man, Daredevil issue number 1, and I thought what also made this cool was the fact that Daredevil number 2 is also Legacy 650 issue. So that kind of added to it a little bit, you know. Daredevil number 3, Daredevil number 4, the variant cover, which I try to be consistent with these things, you know. So I like to get the main covers mostly, but they didn't have the main cover, so I ended up with this variant cover for issue number 4. And then issue number 5. This was a good book. And then issue number 6. So, but yeah, so Daredevil, just because of the complexity, so to speak, of the story, you know, you got him and Elektra coming together and doing their thing and forming the hand. I always get with Punisher and Daredevil, I get the hand and the fist mixed up. But man, it's awesome. It's awesome. So Daredevil's my ongoing book of the year. And for my fourth and final category goes to the event of the year. Now, there's been a few, and they've been good. Now, I would have probably have chosen Deceased. I'll be upfront. I would have probably have chosen Deceased, but I don't really consider that an event necessarily. But yeah. So, with that being said, the event of the year is Dark Crisis on Infinite Earths. And I just like the way this came together, and it kind of resets things a little bit, not entirely, but it does bring back the Infinite Earths to DC. So, you know, we're probably going to have some more multiverse things going on in DC, and multiple versions of this and multiple versions of that and things like that. But this was a fun read, honestly. And quite honestly, it was the first DC event that I read in a long time. So yeah, so this is pretty good. I'm sure everybody has probably have read this. I like the way that it involves like the new younger characters in DC, as well as it mixes in with the more of the legacy characters. And what I mean by that is, you know, like, as you can see, perfect example right here. That just, you know, yeah, the picture kind of says it. I mean, it's awesome, man. Dark Crisis on Infinite Earths. That's pretty cool too, because this is before they put On Infinite Earths on here, issue number 1. So, my event of the year. So those are my books of the year. Those are the books that I felt like were the best in each category. And, you know, I hope you enjoyed it. I hope to hear your thoughts on my picks. And hey, tell me what your picks were as well. definitely always curious to know what your opinions are. And yeah, we'll see what 2023 brings. That's, man, it's almost like a mouthful almost. 2023. I don't know. Like every year, we just got to get used to saying the next year, right? So, but anyway, I hope 2023 got a lot of stuff to look forward to for 2023. A lot of events, a lot of different things coming, especially from DC. So, yeah. So in the meantime, please like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. I'm going to leave my most previous video right here. So check that out. And yeah, we catch y'all on the flip side.